Money G, bro.
Ooh, baby, I like it. Oh, yeah, baby, I like it. Oh, ooh, baby, I like it. Oh, yeah, baby, I like it. Oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the I Like It Raw podcast. I am your host, Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the vet, Jamie Williams, replacing, of course, Big Ray Hernandez, who's, dealing with a few personal things. Hopefully, he'll be back next week. But, vet, we're doing a double header, man. Actually, a triple header. Welcome back to I Like It Raw. Hopefully, this time, everyone can hear us.
Yeah, before we get too far, let's check. Let's make sure that StreamYard is minding their P's and Q's today. Hello out there.
Hello, chat. Chat, just to be sure, I'm pretty sure everything's all good, but I just want to know that you can hear us. That's all that matters after last week. But anyway, Vet, I mean, what an explosive Raw to start with, but obviously we'll get into that. But I was a bit, I didn't mind Raw actually this week, Vet. I mean, I don't know what you thought, but we will get into how you thought about Raw. But as far as news goes, I mean, there's not really as much news as, I feel like, didn't we do this yesterday? It felt like, was it yesterday we did it, or the day before?
Day before yesterday, yeah.
Feels like it was yesterday at this point. But as far as news goes, it seems pretty quiet again, dude.
They say no news is good news. And I guess if you're trying to pad out content, that's not true. But if you're just trying to get through, just yet another review show talking about wrestling, then it works in our favor, doesn't it?
It sure does. And the only, as I'm looking at the news right now, no shit, the only worthy news, and you probably even spoke about this on the Impact Attack possibly, but Kushida has reportedly departed TNA.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know
you guys
that.
Knew that? Oh, well,
No.
That's the news apparently. I mean, does it really leave a hole in TNA at this point? It feels like they sign one person out, another one goes out the door, and these hands are annoying me right now. But Kushida, I think, was a great talent at one point, Vet, and man, I don't know, since he's gone to TNA, he just seems to be very far in the background. Or is it just me?
Well, having to watch every week, I can just tell you that he's just really not a fixture of the show every week. It seems like he comes in to do, just certain sets of tapings, and then other ones he'll miss. So he really hasn't consistently been there the year. I think they just signed him to a deal just to help out sometimes. I don't think they thought, and I don't think he thought, that it was going to make him a star or anything. I think what happened was when he signed with WWE, he moved to the United States, and then he decided not to move back to Japan. He decided to live in the United States. So when New Japan offered him the job, he was training at the LA dojo. He was training the kids at the LA dojo, helping Shibata train those kids, and still living in Florida, I guess. And or maybe he moved to LA. I don't know. But since he was working in the States, I guess TNA offered him a deal, and because he's friends with the Machine Guns and all that stuff, it was probably just a short-term deal. So what that means, that the deal's running out, who knows? It could be that he's going to sign with somebody else. Could mean that he wants to move back to Japan. Who knows? I don't really know. I don't follow his whole life story. I will say, having to watch Final Resolution, he and Moose had a match to start the show, and it was easily the best match on the show. One of the best matches you're going to see all week. And, and then I was like, as soon as the match was over, I was like, oh, damn, I still got to watch the whole rest of Final Resolution now.
Wait. What part of the card was the match?
I said they started the show.
Oh, I literally started the show. Wow.
Yes. I mean, not counting the kickoff, but it was
Right.
it was the opening bout on the main card. So they have that good match. No one's going to follow it. And then you just got to sit there for a couple more hours while, fans try to slap Eddie Edwards and stuff.
Ooh. Well, also reportedly, we've got another 2 releases from TNA, sticking with TNA. Apparently Trent Seven is done, and so is Jade Chung. Anything to report about them too?
Trent Seven. I didn't know that he was. I don't really know what his deal was. I guess like another short-term signing. I guess TNA's interested in doing like short-term, maybe like 1-year contracts or stuff for some of these people. And Trent Seven was not there most of the year. He did an angle where he turned on Mike Bailey, and then Mike Bailey's just been gone.
He's Bailey.
And because he's supposed to go to AEW, right?
Right.
And they got no heat off of that turn. And then they just had him lose on that same pay-per-view, the Final Resolution pay-per-view. So it's just, they got nothing out of the turn, basically. So whatever. I don't care about Trent Seven. He's of no use to me or probably anyone. As far as Jade Chung, that's Josh Alexander's wife, the ring announcer. And if Josh Alexander's not leaving TNA, then I don't know. I guess, what is she going to do? Who knows?
Interesting.
Is he going to follow her as soon as he can? I mean, is that the question?
I've heard rumors that he is looking to leave TNA apparently, and apparently WWE were interested in him, but I don't know. You know what's going to happen if WWE do bring him along? Just say he'll be part of the Alpha Academy, or not Alpha Academy. The what's it called? What's Gable's new team called again?
The American Made, I guess.
That's it, American Made. Yeah, that's the one. I can see him, even though he's Canadian, though. I can see him putting him in that sort of mix. You know what I mean?
Canadian
if
Made.
He does turn up. Hey, I can see it. I mean, come on. How many times?
What he's gonna do? He's gonna go to NXT. He's gonna feud with Ethan Page, and then they're gonna forget that he exists after a while, and he'll retire due to injuries.
Yeah, so that's all the news coming out of TNA. Everything is just nothing of note. Nothing that we haven't already spoken about. I mean, if you want to talk about some of the indie shows, and more particularly the New Japan Strong show, I mean, Mercedes Moné and Mina Shirakawa were dancing apparently on the show. Cool, I guess. We had. I don't even know where this is going, but apparently MJF confronts Big Boom, AJ, that is, the Costco guy, at some shindy show. Are we going to get some of that shit in AEW, or, I mean, are we going to really
for All In Texas?
Oh, no. Don't put it past them,
MJF is got to be regretting that contract signing, huh?
Well, who else can get away with saying, this is a pissant company, fuck this company? He always just abuses the company. I mean, does he not?
But that's him in character.
Right, I know that, But the point that they actually allow him to do that, I think is kind of stupid, in my opinion, anyway.
Isn't that what everybody else does anyway? I mean, when they defend themselves, okay, look, how much sense does this make? If AEW tries to defend themselves, people get mad at him. If AEW lets MJF say whatever he wants, they get mad at him. It's like, I understand. Everybody hates AEW for existing. I get it. I've been listening to it for 5 years. I'm done. You guys have anything new to say at all in the world? It ain't going nowhere. Just deal with it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry they exist. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. Just make some fucking sense. If you're going to talk shit on the internet, make some fucking sense and don't be a hypocrite. God.
That's right.
But anyway, I don't want to see Big Boom AJ and fucking MJF. You got MJF. Use him. Use him right.
Wardlow, anyone? Where's Wardlow? Well, I mean, Waldo, whatever his name is these days. I'm just saying. Anyway, before we move on to the Raw review, I just want to acknowledge the chat. Cold Blooded's in the house saying, "Morning, friends. Rumor has it that Jimmy T is the one who helped Jesse Ventura steal Damien from Jake Roberts to make his coat.
Oh man,
Don't tell
did you?
anyone.
Is that
Don't
true?
tell her.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It's not. It's not.
It was a nice. I will say it was. After checking out Saturday night's main event, I thought it was really nice to hear Jesse Ventura out there and doing commentary
Me
and
too.
stuff. Very
Actually, can I ask
nostalgic.
you-
Sounded good. I mean,
being
he
honest
is an
with-
old man. You
no,
do
he's
understand that, but like,
Right.
he didn't embarrass himself. He was talking about the storylines and relating to points and stuff like that. So
No, I actually
Thought
thought
it
he
was
did
cool.
a lot better than usual. I was expecting him to be a train wreck. Thank God he wasn't. Not that he had a lot to do or say, but still. Actually, I want to ask you about that. I feel like me and Jeff was the only positive guys talking about Saturday night's main event. Everyone else on the internet has totally trashed it. How'd you feel about the event overall? Just curious because I want to know your opinion anyway.
no, I mean, it was fine. It was good. I liked it. I mean, what I liked it is a strong phrase, but you know what I mean.
I get you, right.
Like the WWE's programming is it's very easy to digest. It's not that it's so good. It's just that it's very easy to watch now. They've cut out a lot of the embarrassing stuff. Yeah, there's the stuff that they could do better. And yeah, there's stuff that's not that cool. And yeah, we're still going to see Alpha Academy, on Monday Night Raw hanging around doing nothing. And Tozawa getting a paycheck for standing there and, all this other stuff. Like, we're still going to see all that, but it's still not that bad. It was real. You guys forget how bad this shit was in like 2017, 2018, 2019.
Even
Trying to
before
watch
that.
Raw was the most painful thing you could do in the world as far as pro wrestling was concerned. That's one of the reasons why people were so hyped about AEW, because WWE was so bad. So Saturday night's main event had a cool, I like their retro look. I know people were saying it wasn't retro enough. Who cares?
Come
None of these
on,
people
bro.
were even alive watching Saturday Night Live. They're just bitching. There was Cody had the belt, that was cool. Cool little one night deal. Like, just little things like that. And just, I think they accomplished what they set out to accomplish. But I also feel that, like, the more people hear about how successful the WWE is at the current moment financially, I think that people just tend to want to, they want to kind of tear it down or push back. Like, yeah, well, it's not that great, but it is better than it was. And that's the whole point. You're supposed to progress in a certain direction. And they were so far down the toilet like 6-7 years ago that I was sure that, when by the time Endeavor bought it, I was like, you could see, remember when I said you could be looking at a possible future where the WWE gets closed down because it's not doing well enough,
No, absolutely. And I do remember you saying that. And funny enough, think about those days that you just mentioned. Remember we had Bin's Tarp Imperium, whatever you used to call it back in the day. I mean, it was really that bad. There was no, it was like AEW now at one point in some ways, in terms of fans turning up to the event. Other than pay-per-views, it was always kind of sold out. But in terms of Raw and SmackDown, no one would turn up. And it's amazing to see now, like, just how hot it seems while watching Raw. And again, when you gauge social media and all that, it looks hot. You know what I mean? That's why, like you said, and you've taught me this, so I'll tilt my hat to you for this one. You made me realize, why should I care about the ratings like I used to? You know what I'm saying? Because you're right. I mean, it's not how you gauge how popular it is right now. And I'm talking about all of wrestling, because it's just not the same the way everybody consumes television. And it is what it is. But here I was, like many idiots out there, would always argue that, that thing, that the ratings. But the ratings ain't a good way to gauge things in 2024, in my opinion. And you were right all along.
Well, the ratings have been on a steady decline for 20 years. It's
20
been
years,
very steady.
literally.
It has not been spiking. It's
No.
just been steadily
Slowly, though, very slow.
declining. Jimmy's going to get iPhone emojis popping
What
up
the fuck?
because he's using his iPhone as a camera. So bear with us.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, they've been steadily declining, and at a certain point, so was the attendance and everything. And now
Yeah.
the ratings for Raw and SmackDown are as low as they've ever been, but the buildings are full again. So obviously business is up, but ratings are down because people just, like you said, they're just not watching it like that. It's not appointment television. You can catch all the clips and stuff, and you're still going to want to buy a ticket when they come to town because you haven't, burnt yourself out on it with 3 hours a week for the past 20 years. So, or I know they haven't been 3 hours for 20 years, but you know what I'm saying? Like you're not so
Feels
sick
like
of it, and you just catch it here and there, and that's how fair weather fans are. Some people call them casual. I think the sports term is fair weather. Like they want to pay attention when stuff's going well, and then act like they were there the whole time. Bandwagoneers, let's say. So
Perfect. Bandwagon.
but I was there through the dark times, So I've seen this. I've seen these patterns, and I've seen how the show has, while the quality of the show has dipped up and down over the past 20 so years, the ratings have not. They have steadily declined.
No, and it's funny because from 2001, think about since WCW got bought out. From that point on, that's when the slow decline literally started. And it was very slow. And if you remember from 01 to 02, we dropped down to about fives. The ratings were around the fives to the fours. And then from there, it just kept going down. And here we are today, which is quite amazing with that decline, you know what I mean? And how slow that decline actually was. But it was very slow. And yeah, it's just an interesting time at the time. But before we move on, I should acknowledge the rest of the chat. We got Cold Blooded also. I just mentioned Cold Blooded. We got Frank's Pickle Barrel's ass in the house. We've also got the Hammer, Charles Alfred, in the house. We've also got, let's see, Sir Jam's also in the house. Get rid of the damn headgear. I'm assuming you're talking about Alexander. We were talking about him before.
You can't get rid of the headgear because that's all he's got. If you get rid of the headgear, he's just another bald white guy with a beard.
That's true. Jose Luis Rivera, he's in the house saying Boca Raton Championship wrestling better than AEW. Oh boy, it's
What are their
AEW.
ratings?
Do you really want to know? let's talk
No,
about
Boca Raton Championship Wrestling.
Oh.
What are their ratings?
Who
at?
knows? It's probably very close to damn AEW. Labrat is also in the house. And Al Robinson's also in the house. Hello. Thank you for joining us. And of course, the troll of them all, Zane Vicious, saying Big Ray looks different. He does, as a matter of fact. But yeah, that's about it for now. Let's see what else is going on here before we move on. That's it, man. There's really no more to say about news. And I think we're going to get into the Raw review.
I'm feeling AEW speed co-champion levels of recap here, Jimmy. What about you? Are you feeling it? Do you feel like we could set a new record, even though we goofed off for 20 minutes?
I'm telling you now, man. Honestly, I don't know why that hand came up because I've got no hand up, but I can see us doing this in under 40 minutes. I kid you not.
Mm.
Yeah,
Do you mean 20 minutes from now or 40 more minutes?
No. 20 minutes from now, possibly.
Okay.
But I
I'm
guarantee
excited.
you it would be at least maximum an hour if we go over.
All right. Well, don't hold back on them. You rush through as fast as possible. I know you tend to like to read every word of everybody's promo out, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Today, you could take a break.
Okay. Oh, we'll see what happens there. But I feel like I need to talk about the first segment. But till then, it's the Raw review. And that's the Raw review, little intro graphic there. And boy, did we start hot, actually, because it was CM Punk coming out to a pretty big response, in my opinion, dude. I mean, the people love him. You can't deny that. But anyway,
They've been loving
he does come to the ring. Oh, absolutely, dude. As he makes his entrance, I just want to point out one thing, though. before I get into the Punk thing. It's still about Punk. Have you noticed him and Jackie Redmond are a bit too close lately? I feel like
Oh yeah,
Jackie
hockey
Redmond really likes
buddies.
the guy, man.
Hey,
I'm telling you, dude. Watch the Saturday night's main event little interview. Like he was in the building. Obviously, didn't do anything.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm
And he's
glad you
weird.
brought
I thought
that
I was
up.
tripping.
I'm glad you
Oh,
brought
you
that
saw
up.
that?
Yes, because yeah, it just popped up on YouTube and it was only like 7 minutes, so I just
That's
threw it on
exact-
real quick while I was
same
doing
here.
something else. And I gotta say, long story short, I think one of the reasons that I didn't, vibe with CM Punk at the time that I met him and was around him is because I think essentially with little minor differences here and there, we're essentially like the same guy. Like we're going to have the same basic outlook on a lot of things, especially where pro wrestling's, concerned. I mean, the biggest difference between him and I is that I'm a lot more of a baby face to people if I don't like them. Whereas he was happy to let you know. Yeah, he's happy to let you know if he doesn't like you. But that we still probably don't like the same people. We just have different ways of going about it. Because I always feel that people are more useful to me as allies, even if I hate them. And if you make an enemy, they're a lot harder to manipulate. So, some people learn these. Yeah, some people learn these lessons in life, others don't. Whatever. The point is, he's a millionaire and I'm not. So go figure. But when he was talking to Peter Rosenberg, and I can tell he has to suffer Peter Rosenberg just like we all do.
Right.
Because if he's anything like me, and he's proven to be a lot of times, if he's thinks anything like me, he's probably like, Jesus Christ, this fucking Mark. And when Peter Rosenberg said, he was saying like, he said moveset, and Punk was like, don't say moveset. Right.
And he went red, dude. He was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like he just destroyed him with that comment alone, man. It was
right.
It was awkward.
It's like, and if you guys remember the great work rate ban of what, 2 years ago or whatever, when anybody that was typing that in the chat would get a timeout, like, yeah,
That's funny, actually.
Don't, so I found that amusing because when he did it, when he said, don't say moveset, I was just laughing because I'm like, that's basically me. That's basically me right there in this. And I wouldn't mind getting closer to Jackie Redmond either, for the record.
She looks great, man. I'm not gonna lie, but if you pay, I couldn't help but notice just the way she was looking up to him, even when he wasn't talking. She kept looking at him, dude, and with like full on goo eyes, man, like she was in love. So I'm thinking,
AJ should be worried,
man. If there's anyone she should be worried of, it's Jackie. I'm telling you now, dude.
But he's got the plausible deniability excuse. Oh no, I'm a big hockey fan. She works for the NFL, NHL. It's good. We're just, we're just hockey buddies. Yeah.
And
remember they went to the game with Jey Uso,
right?
So
yeah, absolutely. You're right.
They're all hockey buddies.
And because I thought I was tripping for a moment, I look at the comments and I wasn't the only one tripping. So I'm glad to know I wasn't the only one feeling that way. But anyway, back to Raw. Punk does make his entrance. He tells the crowd to be careful because somebody might get mad at you chanting his name. Mad at you chanting his name. He says he's got to be honest. He's feeling a little low and he's in a bit of a bad mood because 2 weeks ago in this ring, face to face, he told Seth Rollins that he doesn't think about him at all. And over the last few weeks, his mind wandered back to Seth from time to time, and that put him in a bad mood. And he's mad because Rollins is right. With what's between them, it's only a matter of time before they lock up in this ring. And he's also upset because something he enjoys doing very much, coming to this ring, holding a microphone and talking to his people, is always going to be overshadowed by the knowledge that at some point that stupid music is going to hit and he's going to tiptoe out here in clogs like the Purple Pine Man from what's it called?
Porcupine Peak.
Porcupine
That's a
Peak,
strawberry
right.
shortcake reference, Jimmy.
That's right. He's also called him Liberace, which totally made me laugh because you know what he's insinuating here, right? But he said Liberace isn't an insult because he's cool as hell. He's got nothing but respect for Liberace, but the thing is that just because you wear Elton John sunglasses, there's the other hint, does not make you Elton John any more than growing up idolizing CM Punk makes you CM Punk. When you put on a pair of wrestling boots, so fine, he'll give Seth that wrestling lesson now, but he needs to ask the question of if he's tougher than Drew McIntyre, and there won't be enough staples in the world to put him back together. Punk is now getting frustrated that Rollins isn't interrupting, so CM asked for CM Punk chant to try and rouse him, and then we hear Seth's voice joins the chants out of nowhere, and we pan around trying to find him, and lo and behold, he's coming through the crowd in all black, and actually, Vent, for once, he didn't look as goofy. Funny enough, the pants were a little bit, a bit shady, but everything else I actually didn't mind. But anyway, he says his life is all about perspective, and he thought maybe if he came out here and saw Punk the way these people do, it might give him a new perspective, and he might feel differently about who he is. He takes a good look at it and says, even from way up here, CM is still an asshole. And Punk tells him he's finally in the right spot with the rest of the CM Punk fans, which is funny. Seth says it's not embarrassing to be here with these people, and he'll always be a fan. When Punk abandoned this place, and he hoped he'd die, he put it on his back and made it stronger than ever. And this fan has more WrestleMania main events than he ever will, and that's a fact. Phil, he actually said that's a fact, Phil. And then Punk gets enraged, and then we're off to the races, Vet. They're brawling all over the damn arena. It was actually quite well done, I'm not going to lie. With security, whatever you want to call them, the referees and management, if you want to call them that, the way they were pulling them apart, it looked pretty rough, dude, and I was actually kind of impressed because it looked like it was legit. They were legitly trying to pull them apart. Sure, they let him go when they're running around like idiots to the other side to meet each other in the middle because they had the same idea, right? Mm-hmm. Ironically. But still, it was pretty well done. I can move past that anyway, and I thoroughly enjoyed this segment.
Yeah, it was good. I like, these guys, especially Punk, is going to try to tie stuff into the story to make it, more interesting and more real and believable. But shout outs to Big Ray Hernandez, the pundit of the people.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray, for joining us. As a matter of fact, man.
If you got, once again, if you had time to comment, you could just jump on. Okay,
cool.
But yeah. And as far as the pull apart, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that we said when we were talking about the wreckage. We talked about how good it looked when Hook broke into the skybox and beat the shit out of Christian. And then we also talked about how the bad part of that is that everybody on the show does something like that, and it doesn't all look good. So that means that, on Raw and SmackDown, you got people doing these kinds of things all the time, and it doesn't look as good as when they did it here. So it would be better if they had these things be even more rare, right, so that they would mean more. But it's just another pull apart, no matter how good they do it at the end of the day. So, but that's not the fault of the guys. That's just more the general state of the industry right now.
I mean, we pretty much, it feels like we get one every second week at this point. I know I'm wrong, but I'm just saying that's how frequently it actually is. But yeah, look, the segment was great. It started off like Boston was hot, mind you, and it looked like a sellout, legit. And, that set the tone for the show because the next match actually really set the tone. But before we get there, we see a little Finn Balor segment, how he berates the rest of Judgment Day and shit like that, not helping him win the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm not even going to get, word for word. But basically, he's just berating him, big whoop. There's nothing really to say about that from my side. Vet, did you want to make a comment about that, or would you just keep moving?
Oh, no comment.
No comment. We see Ludwig Kaiser making his entrance as we go to break, but as we come back, we see Triple H unveiling the new logo for Raw on Netflix. I like this new logo, Vet, actually. It looks a lot more cleaner. I find it interesting that didn't they initially bring out a different logo when they first brought up the Netflix deal? There was a different version of it.
I forget because I don't really pay attention to those kind of things. And I didn't even see this logo. I must have been looking at the other direction. Hold on, let me see. Let me look it up. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just another logo. It's nothing special.
it's clean.
It's fine.
You know what I mean?
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It looks like AI generated bullshit like everything else does these days.
Yeah, and I'm starting to hate that. Oh, don't even get me started about AI, man, because I came across some disturbing shit about Cody and Diddy. But that's another thing for another day. But anyway, we come back, and as I said, we see Triple H, but we see Adam Pearce chasing down Seth Rollins to basically just tell him off. Rollins yells at him back about wanting the match. Pearce says if they could stop tearing each other's eyes out, maybe he can get something done, and Seth tells him to do his job, and that's that. And then we see Drew McIntyre rolling up and says Seth once told him to just get over Roman Reigns and blah, blah, blah. Initially, basically trying to convince him that he shouldn't trust Jay, he shouldn't trust Sammy. He's trying to make him turn on those guys. He said, no, they're my friends, always have been. I've built, like a rapport with these guys. I've built nothing with Drew. Just because we've both got a common enemy doesn't make them friends. And then basically that's that. You know what I mean? He walks off. He says he respects the other guys, doesn't really respect Drew. Well, he said the jury's out with Drew and just walks off, and that's it. But, Vet, I'm starting to really like Adam Pearce's role, man. I think he's very good. The way he looks legit, dude. When he's telling off people, he looks like he's ready to, have a heart attack from high blood pressure or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, he looks stressed out, legitly. So I'll give him a thumbs up. And other than that, everything else, cool, I guess. Anything to say about that, Vet?
Yeah, I think that Adam Pearce he's a little over the top with being exasperated, but I'm more concerned with the fact that they've kind of curbed the entire silent competition with Nick Aldis thing.
Oh yeah, that's
like
true.
that. They're not really. They were playing that up at one point. Now they've backed off of it. But it was like the contrast was that Adam Pearce is losing it, and Nick Aldis is kind of in control. Even if Nick Aldis has his own things to deal with. I mean, one person's Kevin Owens is another man's CM Punk or whatever. So they both have shit to deal with, but for a while there, they were making it seem like, oh, this guy's got it under control and Adam Pearce is losing his mind. So they kind of got away from that. So I don't know why, but then the other thing was I like the way they this felt more like this is what Raw's been good at lately is capturing. It feels like they're capturing the moment instead of staging the moment. Like they would just have guys just 100%. Show up and then someone would walk in from the side. This one, it's like the camera backstage is like running to catch up with Adam Pearce and Seth. And then he's kind of like holding it. He is moving it too much, like to make it look like a little more action in the scene. But I mean, just holding it with your hand is fine. You don't have to do anything extra, but yeah, just those little touches like that and them arguing feels more realistic. They were doing that really well with with the New Day and stuff. You didn't mention that, but they was coming through, or was that not happened yet? But they came through and, they're looking for a place to change clothes apparently. But I was talking about more like when they were arguing with each other before Big E came back, those moments, it looked like the camera caught them, not that they had to shoot this pre-tape, so absolutely. I like that.
No, I agree 100%. Next, though, this is a pretty good match in my opinion. It is Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser for your Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker, of course, is your champion. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. He's told a good story in the ring, dude. I'm not going to lie. I mean, Ludwig Kaiser now is starting to grow on me, actually. What was that, Vet?
The people outside on the street are driving vehicles.
Oh, man, no shit. That sounded like a ship. That threw me off. I'm like, what the hell?
Well,
but anyway.
we're moving stuff around here at the West Coast installation. We've got munitions being delivered at all times. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But as far as Kaiser is concerned, to me, the story here, as far as you said, they told a good story of the match. To me, the only story is this guy don't beat anybody, so I'm not interested. They've done that, and I'm not like a mark either. You obviously know that I understand that it's not about really who's winning and losing, but the stories they're telling me with this guy are not captivating me.
And see that, and I got like people will tell me off for not like I wasn't feeling it with Kaiser either, right? This match kind of made me like him a little bit more, but I'm not over the line with him yet. The jury's still out with me when it comes to him. Actually, did you notice when he was making his way to the ring? This was so disrespectful, dude. Like this kind of irked me a little bit. Look, there was overweight woman, shall I say, and I guess her overweight boyfriend or whatever. Like I don't know if they said anything. You know what I mean? And even if he was doing it for heat, it's just cheap heat. But he spat right in their direction, like legitly just spat. And it looked just offensive the way he did it, dude. And it's just like, why even do that? You know what I mean? Like, why'd you have to do that? Unless it said something derogatory, it didn't look like it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not like I can hear it. But yeah, it was just a bit wrong considering how big these people were. They were pretty huge, man. I'm not gonna lie.
So if they were more healthy, it's okay to spit at them. I don't really get what you're saying.
No. I'm saying I can't believe that he spat at him. Like it was bad. It was wrong to do that. Is considering what they looked like, and it could, some people. How can I say this? Can't take stuff like others can. Put it that way.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they couldn't take it, but I'm just saying some people.
Maybe we should just move on
geeky.
from this line of thinking because it's going nowhere.
All right, fine. I'm just saying. That stood out to me. But anyway. This match was very well done. Ludwig Kaiser was basically working on Braun's arm throughout the whole match. It looked pretty devastating with some of the, arm holds and moves that he did with the shoulder per se. But in the end, of course, Braun Breaker, he's going to get the win, which he does via the spear. And man, is it just me? And it's not the spear, right? It really isn't. But,
super spear.
Whatever you want to call it. But he's starting to remind me of Goldberg a little bit, dude. And it's not the spear. It's just everything else about him and his presentation. Sure, he's got, his dad and his uncle's mannerisms. He barks and kind of acts more like Scott Steiner, if that makes sense. But he's giving me Goldberg vibes suddenly, dude. And it only struck me really yesterday.
Well, Goldberg didn't get beat 5 times, so
That's true. That's very true. I don't know why. It's just the way they present him is very. If you want to, you can call him even a cross of Ryback for better, in some ways. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't know what they're doing with him. They don't.
So?
Not since day one. No, I've watched this guy since NXT. I understand how they don't understand.
That's true. But next, speaking of understanding, or misunderstanding, should I say, this is the part where we see New Day get confronted by Rey Mysterio, all in pink. They're upset that he's not doing anything as a locker room leader to keep people from turning on them. And he says what they did to Big E wasn't right, and it'd be best if they found somewhere else to change. Xavier Woods says that's fine. They didn't want to share a locker room with him and the rest of the locker room anyway. And then we go to the break. What do you think of this? Interesting. I like it, but, where are we going with this New Day thing? Is everybody going to hate their friggin' guts? You mentioned how they don't know what they're doing with Braun. I still feel like they're really trying to figure out what to do with New Day right now. And they're just stalling.
Yeah, I mean, they could be stalling, but it's definitely something different.
Charles says... Yeah, it is different, definitely. Sorry, continue on there, Vet.
I don't know. I thought it was funny. I wonder why. I guess Rey Mysterio being the most senior person,
I guess he's
to be the one to
locker room leader.
Kick him out of the locker room. It's like,
well, there's no Taker anymore, right? So
yeah, how does that work? Like, so Big E said, "I want to manage you guys," and they were like, "No, Big E, too little, too late. We don't want you to manage us. Get to stepping." And they are now ostracized from the locker room. But Kevin Owens is going to pile drive people and do all this stuff and Does he have to change out? Maybe he does because he's always in the car. So like maybe they are making him change in the car. Maybe I proved my own point there. So okay, never mind. Forget I said anything.
That's a good point though. He actually has been in his car. I was ready to get the neuralizer out for a moment.
Michael Cole had to go in the car.
He did. That's true. Charles Alford says, can Goldberg call a match? Actually, Brunt wasn't even the one calling the match. That was all Kaiser in that match, man. Completely. So, no. I guess Goldberg can't.
But the answer is no.
Breaker, no. Right, exactly.
Regardless,
and even Breaker to a less extent. I mean, he doesn't look like the type that would know how to call a match yet either. But anyway, Elliot Spaceman says CM Punk is fucking gold. Best thing going this whole year, Jimmy T and Vet. Yeah, you can make the argument, I guess. Yeah, probably, more than likely. If I had to call him, would you, if you had a superstar of the year in WWE right now, would he be the MVP for 2024, in your opinion?
Sure. I mean, he was involved in the best, pun intended. It was the best anything to do with pro wrestling in probably like 10 years with him and Drew McIntyre, which it took both those guys to pull it off. But, and there were, it wasn't perfect. Like we talk about the turnbuckle touching and stuff, but overall, like as far as how to do an angle that lasts that long through injuries with limited like touches, like not being physical, but having to carry it on the microphone, right. When the person isn't even cleared to work. Also the fact that, just look how CM Punk has been gone. He was gone for so long and came back and was still as hot as ever. Like, just all that stuff. I mean, you kind of have to, in context, you kind of would have to say he's an MVP, certainly.
Absolutely. It's hard to argue that. If there was what's it called? A sort of breakout star in a way for 2024, and even though he's not really a breakout, but in some ways I guess it is, Drew McIntyre would be my breakout guy.
Well, yeah, because everything Drew McIntyre did before this sucked dick.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
It's just kind of like how everything Seth Rollins does is kind of lame and weird, and then as soon as he has to do a thing with CM Punk, it just gets better all of a sudden. So, I don't know, common denominator is this one guy that was gone for 10 years.
Yeah, it's true. The Comic King's in the house. Todd Brantley, man, thank you for joining us, and thank you for the update, man. You didn't even have to tell me here, dude, but I appreciate you telling me that. But anyway, let's move on, though, Vet, because next we get a recap of Cody and Kevin Owens. Not much really to say here other than that package, pole driver looks pretty brutal, even though he protected him. It looks good, though, the way they, executed it. Next we see the Judgment Day making the entrance, and Dominic Mysterio gets on the mic. As per usual, we had a lot of heat with Dom. The crowd was just booing the crap out of him. Then we see Rhea Ripley come out. Basically he called, I don't know if this happened with you, but with my feed, the slut part came out, right? And then they tried to like blur it out, but they were too slow. So I heard it clearly, she's like, you slut, whatever she said to Dom, chicken something slut. And cool, I guess.
Chicken tender slut.
Oh, that's it. Chicken tender slut. He loves his chicken tenders. That's actually true. But chicken tender slut, I don't know, man. It was just a bit weird. But I want to ask you, dude, is Rhea Ripley overdoing the makeup right now, man? She's got to relax on the makeup, man. Just turn it back a little bit.
No.
It's too much, man.
No, you're just hating Australians again. Move on.
Oh, here we go. No, I'm not. I love Rhea.
No, here you go. You name one Australian you like right now.
Rhea Ripley.
You just told her to cut her makeup out.
I'm just saying she's got way more makeup than usual than she used to. That's just she looks
you're
weird,
saying well, you're saying you know better, so you obviously don't think much highly of Rhea Ripley, so you hate her.
I'm a freaking
you hate her.
Anyway, let's move on though. But I don't really have much to say about that segment. I don't know if you do. It's the same old shit week in, week out with these group of people. Vet, to be fair.
Yeah, I when the Judgment Day comes on, I leave the room.
Well, speaking of leaving the room, we see Seth, well, not this part, but more the next part. Seth Rollins interviewed on his way out of the building, but before he can answer, Sami Zayn attacks Drew McIntyre in the background and pulls the camera's focus. Referees and road agents, pull aparts appear to try and pull him apart. Drew threatens to put Sami in a box. Poor Jason Jordan eats a hell of a rabbit punch as we cut away. And then we see Zoe Stark making her entrance. And this is where I started looking away. But then I looked for a moment back because we see the Final Testament and Miz talking backstage. I kind of like this segment. Miz looks like he's in a rock and a hard place. And basically they're forcing him to do what they tell him or else he's done.
Oh, yeah, they know where he lives and all.
What do you think of the Final Testament now, currently? Is it improved a lot, in your opinion? I think finally it's kind of starting to click. We're still a long shot, though, of it working properly, but I think they're on the right direction for now.
Yeah, better than it was. I just don't understand what's so difficult about getting things off on the right foot sometimes.
You tell me, man.
Like, do you have to put people on TV before you actually know what you want to do? It was just very strange. The entire thing with them has been very strange. Cross has had a lot of stop starts at various points, and it's hard to overcome that. But then again, no, it isn't, because if you really just decide to say, nope, we're just moving forward with this and we don't care what we did before, then stuff can work. But they just don't do that for whatever reason. So yes, it's better now. The Miz makes it interesting. It's a different wrinkle to what they were doing. I think we've got enough people doing like cryptic, weird horror movie promo pre-tape stuff.
Way too many, right?
So this approach where, Cross, every time Cross on the screen, you're kind of like, what is he up to? Like, what is he doing? He's up to something. So I kind of want to see what he's up to. So that makes it interesting. And you actually have Paul Ellering say stuff now, which he should have been the whole time. Just don't just bring a Paul Ellering on the road just to stand there. That's the whole reason that he never went with the Authors of Pain when they got called up the first damn time years ago, because he was only at NXT with them because he could stay in Florida and be there with them. He didn't want to go on the road. Now they're making him go on the road, which is like a rib. You're going to make him go on the road and then just do nothing? So at least give him some mic time, and they did that on this episode. So good.
How old is Paul Ellering now, man? Is he hit 80 yet? And if he has, I mean, seems like, he's still pretty switched on. He looks great still for his age. I mean,
he's definitely old for a bodybuilder, because a lot of those guys died of heart attacks.
That's true. You're right. Absolutely, man. So he must have been doing something right. But anyway, at least this time there's a direction with Cross's crew, the Final Testament. You know what's sad, though? They're outshining. I'm not going to lie. They're outshining now at this point the White Six, man. I'm so done with them.
Who?
I hope
they're outshining the who?
Exactly. We'll just leave it at that. Simple as that. Anyway, speaking of who, next we have a match for your WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament first round match. It is Kaden Carter versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Zoe Stark. Jesus. This match for me, it was
so random,
but it was a tournament. It was a tournament match, to be fair. But this sucked to me, dude. I can't stand Raquel. I can't stand her work. Zoe Stark's a good worker, but she's lost in the shuffle anyway. Like, who is she? You know what I mean? And Kaden, again, who is she at this point? Why is she in the singles?
Well, she's in a tag team, and
right. So why is she here?
So yeah, I get it. Well, whatever. It's over. Zoe Stark won.
That's all that matters. Is that surprising to you? You would have thought maybe Raquel might have won, but I guess they went with Stark.
Well, Raquel doesn't need to win because
right, she's got her own thing going.
Right.
Next is a bunch of nothing. I'm just gonna say we see R-Truth hanging out with Alpha Academy backstage. Cool, couldn't care less. And we also see American Made roll up, so Jake Cable can berate them basically for ruining his academy. And that's that. I mean, Vet, anything to say? I mean, I pretty much summed it up.
Well, here's an example. You keep talking about where are they going with this. And my answer to that is, again, who cares? You're going to watch it anyway. But just to answer that sentiment, it's like, that's what I'm kind of thinking about American Made. Okay. So you gave yourself a different name. You wear suits and all this other stuff, and you're still the same job guys that you've been. There's nothing different. You're not going after anybody else. You're working with the same people. You come all the way back to Raw, and you're still talking to Alpha Academy. Isn't your business done? And it's to your discredit that I don't remember of the two groups which one came out on top last. So whatever you even did in your feud, it didn't matter because I don't remember. So don't try to rekindle it now. Just move on and pick a fight with somebody else.
Spot on, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. We come back from commercial after that matchup. We see New Day interview backstage once again. Xavier Woods complains about biased journalism. I wonder what he's really alluding to. And we pan over to see Pure Fusion Collective leaving a screaming Kairi Sane with her hand jammed in the lid of a road case. What's going on here? I heard certain rumors that she's hurt, but I don't know for certain. It seems like this is a way to write her off television for a couple of weeks, I guess.
Wait, you said who had a Kairi, yeah.
Kairi Sane, right, yep.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why did they bring her back?
They've wasted her bad.
They haven't done anything with her since she's been back. Yeah, she is so good.
Worst.
Well, and she's just.
This run is worse than the first run, dude, by a long shot so far.
Yeah. It's just really, it makes me sad. You really have something here. You take a lot of women and you put them into groups. Is basically, well, the men too. You just take a bunch of people and put them into random groups. Here's the Pure Fusion Collective. Oh, here's Damage Control. Here's Alpha Academy. Here's the American Made. Here's the Final Testament. Here's the Wyatt family. All these other guys that are barely not these guys should all be released, and some of them were and got brought back to be in the Wyatt family, and now we have the Wyatt family, and he already jobbed them out, so they're useless. So just put everybody in a random group. Is that not what people accused AEW of ever? Everybody being a faction, and that's what the internet was bitching about. To go back to my point earlier in this show when everybody doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. They just complain about the same old shit all the time. And here we are, the WWE doing the same thing. Now WWE has every belt in the world, and everybody's in a faction.
Yeah, and it's no different to AEW. It's no different to all of wrestling at this point. And you're right. But wait, don't say that, because remember, we're supposed to be WWE bots around here, apparently, Vet. So,
oops.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, whatever they're doing, I have no idea anymore. But you're right, everything's in a stable. And speaking of stables, next we've got the main event. Jeez, it is for your WWE World Tag Team Championships. It is Judgment Day in Finn Balor and JD McDonough, your champions.
Another group. That's why I didn't even mention them.
You did it, and that's why I'm making reference to you. Versus the War Raiders in Eric and Ivar. Is it just me? I couldn't get into this match, dude. I wanted to. I was kind of a little hyped. I have been saying for weeks that the War Machine was going to be the ones that were going to win these tag bouts eventually, and pretty quick once they got back together. And here we are. They did. Whether they hold them for long, I don't know. But, can they stay healthy? Hopefully.
Here's what I don't like. Even though this is supposed to be, finally the War Raider Machine Viking experience has finally, they've overcome all that bullshit, and they finally reached the top of the mountain of Raw, because there's other tag team champions in the company, but whatever.
That's right.
So they finally won the tag team titles that they always wanted to win. And it's supposed to be a good moment, and it's a way to close the show and leave the people with a feel-good moment. But they still needed Damian Priest to come in and do this thing. So it would have been nice if they could win it on their own. Now, I understand you have to you're trying to further the angle or whatever. But again, it's the same thing with that I was saying about American Made. How many times are you just gonna not like? Can Damian Priest move on? Is there anything else for him to do?
Nope.
Right.
Nothing.
So
there really isn't. They don't know what to do.
And at least in fairness, that makes sense because he's not the world champion right now, and he's mad. So it's Judgment Day's fault, and they turned on him, and he's never going to let it go. So at least he's got a good reason to continue trying to like get payback for what he's doing. But it does sort of like take away, from the Viking Raiders, or War Raiders, whatever. They're it does the war experience. It takes away from their win a little bit. It would have been nice for them to actually get a win. And then if you want to do business afterwards, you can have Damian Priest come in and like rub salt in the wound. Like, not only did you lose, but I'm going to kick your ass too. Like, so that would have been something a little bit different to let the War Raiders get a win. Like, yes, we're good enough to be these champions. We're not only, we didn't slip on a banana peel and fall on top of Judgment Day. We actually beat their asses because we're tough guys. Like, how do you have a guy like JD McDonough and Finn Balor stand next to the War Raiders and you think, man, the War Raiders got no chance of winning this, No,
no chance. I mean, come on. Their heads,
no chance in hell.
Their heads are too big. No chance in hell. Their heads are way too big for the War Raiders War Machine experience, whatever they're called these days. I don't know how you've done it before, but you managed to put all their names in one actual.
I feel like I still forgot one, but
you probably did. You probably did.
But I mean, so that's my only thing. But as far as the match goes, like the people were into it. It was an exciting match. Title change on Raw. War Raiders get their moment. Like all that stuff was good. I'm saying that stuff was good. And I'm just telling you my perspective. I like to separate. I'm trying to separate like my personal feelings from what I actually think objectively about what the show they put on was good enough. Here's what I thought about it, but I still recognize it was pretty good. So I thought it was a strong end to the show. The show is bookended strongly, like it usually has been for the past several months.
Absolutely. No, you're right. We started off strong. We had a bit of a lull period in the middle, ended, strong again. So no, you're right. It's a typical, Raw way of booking things, to be honest. But look, even if it sounds like we're, bagging the show, we're not. It's just, it was a decent show, but we're just calling out all the bullshit too. You know what I mean? Not that it was bad. It's just, it is what it is. But anyway,
I mean, you see what happens when we have to do, when we have to do the whole week of AEW in one show. We end up skipping over a lot, not just because we're trying. It's not only because we're trying to get through it quickly, because it's not that we're trying to get through it quickly. It's that we don't have really that much to chew on. It's very slim pickings. Like we're getting like a chicken bone with a little bit of gristle on it, and we're supposed to talk about it. Yeah. Like, what do you want me to say about Deonna Purrazzo versus Shazza McKenzie? Like, how the fuck am I supposed to talk about that? So it's not so much that I make a joke like we're just trying to fuck it off, but the truth is we just don't have that much to work with. Whereas this 2-hour Raw, we could have actually spent more time on some of these things, and given you guys like even more of a breakdown of like all kinds of stuff, especially since I don't talk about WWE main show programming that much. So I have a lot more to say about it sometimes and I never get to, but that's just the point. So I'm just trying to, I see things differently, and I'm trying to complain about stuff that I still feel is a problem, but that doesn't mean that it's not an entertaining show or it's not a digestible package or a digestible meal, to use my a la carte analogy.
I'm glad you said that too, Vet, because some people might take us the wrong way, but you explained it perfectly, man. It's exactly what the reasons are. And like, it's like me, I automatically know what the Vet is going to be interested in when I'm looking at the Raw show. You know what I mean? That's when I know what to skim past and whatnot. That's why I'll be like, is there anything to say? I've got nothing to say. I'm pretty sure. What's it to say about stupid segments sometimes that have no relevance? You know what I mean? And like you said, Deanna Perrazzo and Shazza McKenzie, really? I'm not going to say nothing about it. What am I going to say about it? You know what I mean? There's nothing to say.
She won with an armbar.
That's it.
Look, you're getting bonus AEW coverage right here on I Like It Raw. As far as Todd Brantley's question, what does everybody think of Tessa Blanchard? I think two good places to find out what people think about Tessa Blanchard would be the wreckage and the Impact Attack.
Absolutely. No, I actually was a big fan of the Impact Attack this week, or yesterday, shall I say.
So was I.
Yeah. Aaron Ben Shlomo says, Tessa who? You're one of those ones too, Aaron. But anyway, Vet, I think we're done on the hour mark. I think we can, yeah, we did. I told you, 1 hour. There we go. We could have done it quicker. We could have gone longer, but in saying that, Vet, tell them what you're doing and what you're up to, man.
All right. At Opinion Haver everywhere and on HMG everywhere, basically. I'm on every show except for the locker rooms and the Smack Attack. So we'll be back. We'll be back at it tomorrow too for Next Level Wrestling Review. Jimmy and I.
I think you've beat me to it this week, Vet. Or no, or maybe we've done an even amount of shows. But yeah, it's pretty much you and I every show that's been done on this network, other than the Friday Locker Room. It feels like. But that's because of circumstance. We don't mean to, have ourselves out there like this that much. But, we're just covering for obviously Big Ray. And, hopefully he's back soon. And, I hope he's feeling better, obviously. But in saying that, are you playing? You're going straight onto Twitch now, aren't you?
Yep. Shortly, I'll be on Twitch. So if you want to hop over at Opinion Haver, that's everywhere. Not just social media, but every platform. Opinion Haver. Me.
What game are you playing now?
Today is $2 Tuesday, so I'm going to dig out some trash game and see if I can shine it up real nice.
Do you ever get good ones, man?
Sometimes, which is the whole point of it.
Right, no, I like it a lot. Actually, I might even tune in myself, man. But in saying that, if you want to follow me on the X, you can right there and up there at DJ Mass Effect. Also at the PWC Network. Like and subscribe right here at the Hamin Media Group YouTube channel where this show is exclusively on. Please, like I said, man, keep liking and sharing and subscribing and sharing it everywhere so we can get to that 1,000 mark. We're close, but we're not there yet, so please keep doing that. Also, like and subscribe at channelattitude.com where not only to get the best, but also the realest talking all of wrestling. And, of course, HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com for all our affiliate shows. And that's a wrap, actually, Vet. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the Vet Jamie Williams. And you've been listening and watching the I Like It Raw show right here on Hamin Media Group YouTube channel. And we're out. Peace.